right, so on previous videos I showed you guys that I had a drainage problem here where there's a 2-foot culvert pipe coming from across the road, and it dumps water from way up the hill up there, and sometimes that thing is almost at full capacity, flowing down into this pond and then trying to go out back, but it overloads my culvert pipe over there, which is only a 12-inch culvert pipe. I could upgrade that culvert pipe. The problem is I have a bunch of electrical and plumbing going across that, and there's 2 of them actually. There's 2 different areas where I have them, and I have electric and plumbing going across both areas. So in order to address that, I would need to put new culvert pipes in both those areas, which would mean disconnecting electrical services, disrupting plumbing, just a whole host of problems that would be very disrupting. And at the same time, I don't know if I really want the water going back into that area anyways. So the plan right now is to divert this culvert pipe around my property, going that way and then around that way and down into my pond. Then there's several reasons why I want to do that. Number one, I want to put more flow going into that pond because that will get the silt out of it so it's not so muddy looking all the time. And then the other reason is obviously just to get the water out of this pond. So there's actually another culvert pipe over there, and it's like an 18-inch culvert pipe, and it doesn't really run that much, but it's enough to keep this pond going. So I'm thinking I'm just going to take this and divert it that way, and then that one can stay filling this pond up. So from here down to where I want to go, it's about 700 feet going around the corner and stuff, and there's about 26 feet of elevation difference between there and there. So if you do the math, I got plenty of drop to make this happen. The problem is there's some areas that I need to dig really deep to make this happen, and to be honest, I'm not sure if I can even dig that deep because I might hit rock. Let me show you. So we're gonna go down this way and around, and it's a little bit of a mess over here because I had to move stuff around to make this happen. Normally I'd like to start at the top and let the water drain as I'm going, but this is not going to be one of those times. I'll show you why. This is that area that I cleared out with all my junk last year. And this is on the side of the garage, and I own till that wall right there. So there's 2 stone walls, and I own to that one. So the plan is to dig a trench down through here. The problem is from right here to over there, it goes uphill, and at this point we need to be about 10 feet deep here. So this whole area has got to be dug out a lot, like probably 10 feet, but at least 8 feet. We have enough pitch where we don't have to get all the way down if I need to, which I'm probably gonna have to do because it's just too deep for over here. But we only have a few days left before we start getting a hard frost again, so I want to tackle this as quick as possible. All this stuff needs to be cleared out. There's where my house is. From here it goes downhill. This is easy, but from here to there, this is going to be really hard. This is going to be a big area to dig. It's going to be a lot of dirt coming out of here. I'm probably going to send some of it over here to build up this area, some of it out that way to stockpile, and I don't know if I'm going to hit rock. Probably will. Hopefully I can tear it up because it should be like shale. I might have to bring my big excavator over here, and I don't even know if that's going to handle it. I might have to get a jackhammer, so I don't even know if it's going to happen this year, but we're going to try. It's actually starting to snow right now. Really windy today, so I don't want to be taking down any trees, but I think we can make this happen with only taking down minimal trees, just a few of those little trees right there. Most of it's just brush like this. So I know this sounds crazy, but I kind of want to start right here. This is like 3/4 of the way through, and it's not something I would normally do, but this is going to be the hardest area to dig. It's the area that I got to dig the deepest. As I'm doing this, I'll have the guys work on clearing some brush out of here. That way we can continue on that way, continue on this way. But as of right now, I want to start here, digging this way, dig my way back up. And if I can get through this area to where I want, then it's all downhill from there. literally. I'm gonna use the Samsung because that's bigger than the Deere and it's got a thumb, whereas that one over there does not. So let's just start with this machine, and if we need something bigger, I guess we'll bring in the bigger Samsung. guys over here clearing the rest of this path. About the last quarter of it here, just filled with brush and small trees and stuff. That way I can continue on here just in a little bit here. Drain all this out. So it goes downhill for a little bit here, then you can see that water right there. The water pools up here and then it goes back uphill again, so I gotta do another one of those things where I dig it really wide because it's gonna be really deep there. Alongside of my house here. In between the stone walls is about 30 to 35 feet here, so I got plenty of room, but I know this is going to be a lot of rock here. I got to get through this big hump right here, and then down there is where I want to end up. So now that we have good drainage coming from over there, which is about 600 feet to where we ended, now we need to do the last 100 feet going to the culvert pipe. So some of this I wasn't able to get deep enough, so there's a little bit of ponding going on in some areas. Some areas need to be adjusted a little bit. Some of the stuff filled back in. This is quite the sloppy project here, but I'm trying to get this done before everything freezes, which we had a pretty hard frost last night, so we're really running out of time now. But here, let me just show you what I got so far. See, that's already frozen down there on the top. And this is where things get crazy. I don't know if the camera can really do justice on that, but I am standing 6 feet below the ground level, and this is another 5 to 6 feet below that. So we're 11 to 12 feet. The grade is way up here. And there's a little bit of ponding here because I hit some serious bedrock over there. I did hit some bedrock along the way, but I was able to kind of break it up. But I'll show you over there, it's serious bedrock, and I could not move it. I was on that for a good 2 hours trying to chip away at it, and it just wasn't happening. So I would like to see a lot less ponding going on here, but the bedrock kind of dictated that. See, all this doesn't need to be ponded up here, but the bedrock would not allow me to get down further. So that is the boulder right there. Well, not boulder, but it's bedrock. I flaked away some of it, but I actually had to go and do a sharp 90 right here. It's the only way I was able to get even below this, because you can see there's 18 inches between the water and here, and this is where the water was gonna sit, but I dug this little bit by here. Maybe I can come in with a machine and dig away more of this corner, but I kind of blocked myself in. I mean, I can make anything work. If I need to come in here with a machine, I can get here. It's just gonna take a while, and I don't know if it's worth it. I can get to any part of this stream. It's just how much work it's going to take to get there. So, you know, you're trying to keep it as deep as you can going along, and then you hit bedrock where it goes up, and then you can't get that deep there, and then from there all the way back is just ponded up. And that's what happened. But you can see it's running some water, and I'm not even connected to the culvert yet. So this is just running water out of the ground that was kind of a little bit higher than it should be. So it kind of goes around here. Goes all the way down there. And that's the lowest level, so that's where we needed to end up. And that's right behind my garden. That's the lowest area. The only thing lower than that is a waterfall a few hundred feet that way, and that drops like 20 feet, so we're never gonna flood here because it's just gonna go to that waterfall. I was thinking of bringing the 240 in here and trying to see if I can get this whole thing up, but I think this is too big even for that. If it was broken up, I've taken some massive chunks out with the 130, 8 by 8 by a foot thick. I've moved pieces like that, but this is way bigger than that. This is 12 feet that way and 12 feet that way, and who knows how thick it is. So it's just not going to happen. So I think this is going to be one of those things where I'm going to do as much as I can right now. Everything's going to freeze, and then in the springtime I will address cleaning everything up. including possibly putting in some culverts right there where it's really deep, because that's about a 100-foot section there, and I need at least a 15-inch culvert, and those 15-inch culverts are around $400 a piece, and I'm gonna need at least 5, probably more like 6 of them. So in order to make this area reasonable, that's what it's gonna take. runs, the more this will erode this, and the more it will bring the silt from the high spots and put it in the low spots. So when you first start running this drainage, it's always going to be a little bit sloppy looking, but it'll equal itself out. I've done it many times, especially this one, because this one's going to see a massive amount of flow when it really rains, and that'll wash big rocks aside and everything. This is the most satisfying part, but still a lot of work to do. I just want to watch that connect over there. So I guess while I got the excavator up here, I could clean up a little bit and just sort of flatten things out. At least good enough to get a skid steer up here and really flatten it out anyways. I only have a few days left and then everything's going to be frozen, so might as well do it while I'm up here. It's kind of a pain to get up here anyways. So we got a last minute change of plans here. We got about 1 day left before I'm not able to dig anymore. We've already got about a hard foot of frost here, and it's in the lower teens right now, and it's going to stay that way for a while. So I've decided that I could do one of two things here to address this, because I don't want to leave it all winter like this. I can either put in 100 feet of culvert, and that would cost me like $2 grand, or for free, or for $20–30 in diesel, I can move some dirt around, redirect this part here, and then it will probably work for now. So the worst part about this area is over there. The elevation is just a lot higher. Over here, it's a good 6 feet lower. So what I'm thinking is I can redirect this part of this stream to go that way, about 10 feet. So what I'm going to do is start over here, just because that's the only place I can get to with the excavator. I'm going to start scooping back to move this 10 feet, 12 feet back, and I'm going to use that dirt and put it on this side so that this can have a much more gentle slope down. Because right there, we're at like a, I don't know, 70-degree angle there. It's not much less than a 90-degree angle. It's pretty much straight up and down. So what I want to do is redirect the stream that way so that I can add a lot of dirt back there, so that that's not so bad. And if an animal like a deer or something gets over here, they don't just fall down. They can actually climb up out of there. They can actually go down and then get back out if they need to. So the nice thing about moving it over this way is not only does the slope already naturally go down here, but I can also slope it down this way a lot too. So I can actually make it so you can walk right up to the stream. I have enough length here to pitch it down very gently, even if I move it over. So that's what I'm going to do here. I don't like the fact that it's not a straight line going back, and it kind of veers off and then veers back, but at this point I think it's the best of all options. I can always put culverts in next year if I want to. If I want to gain this land back, I can always put in culverts next year. I just think right now, I don't know, $2 grand for culverts, yeah, I could do it, but it'd be just as easy just to spend a few hours, because it would take a long time to put in the culverts anyways. So I could just take that time that I was going to do that and just do the free option. And we're going to stockpile the dirt over there, because I do have uses for a lot of this dirt. I just don't want to mess with it right now. So we'll stockpile all this dirt right here over there. But yeah, there's many hundreds of yards of dirt here, so I'm going to use the big excavator and get it done as quick as possible. All right, so you can see I curved it over that way, and now both of those banks are walkable. So I'm just gonna keep working it back until I connect back to the stream over there. Probably moved it more like 20 feet now that I'm looking at it. I didn't really intend to move it quite that far, but it works. It's a nice gentle slope. What I don't want is the neighbors complaining about their property being cut off like right there, and it's really steep and it could erode their property into the stream. I don't think they're gonna say anything, but now they definitely can't say anything, because that's a pretty good angle right there. And it also allows it so that animals don't get trapped in there if they fall down or something. A deer can easily just walk down, drink water, and walk right back up. So I'm just gonna keep working it back, and I had the guys clear out a bunch of brush over there next to the garage, and it was a place that was just a dead area, and now it's nice and clear, so I'm gonna pile all the excess dirt here over there, and then I'll ship it out eventually. Probably not till next year though, just losing time here. So that was an entire day redirect, but I'm happy it was done. Now you can walk on both sides, no problem. And it definitely is a little wider than it needs to be. As I was going along, the level of that stream kept changing, because as you take a scoop, fluid would move this way, and then you let it fill up a little bit and it would go that way. So as it is right now, I'm probably 18 inches too deep. I'm just gonna leave it like that for a little while and see how things pan out. But I do want to get in here with a smaller machine and dress this up, because now that I got everything shaped, all I need to do is just go over it with a skid steer or an excavator or a dozer, just to knock down and just make it smooth. I think what I'm going to do when I get time, and maybe I'll have enough time in a few days, maybe I'll knock down all those trees and pull out that so that it's not so abrupt going around the corner. I just had no access there because of those trees, but those trees aren't really that important. That one doesn't look like it's in that great a shape anyway, so maybe I'll just take them all down. That way I can kind of go straight instead of curving again, because the less curves the better. Also, I couldn't quite reach out far enough to dig this down, so you can see it's kind of pulled up. It just needs to go down like 6 inches from there to there, and then that will take care of all that water right there. I just couldn't reach around the corner. I could probably fill this area in so that it's just a trickle of water on the top. Or I can come down here and see if I can get this lower. It is possible that I could get this lower, which would be nice, because this entire area here is just really high up. It doesn't need to be sitting here pooled up. Alright, so it's been like a week since I messed with this. I went up to the Adirondacks and I came back, and it's actually above freezing right now for the whole day today, but it's supposed to go back down below freezing. So I'm just going to see if I can do something with this to make it look better before I really don't have a chance to do it anymore. It doesn't look that bad right now, but the general grade is great. And if I could just get a skid steer in here, I could really make this look nice. But the skid steer is not going to happen right now. The only thing I can think of is an excavator, just spending some time and fluffing it up. And then maybe after it's fluffed up, a skid steer can go in. But I'm thinking if I take my John Deere 80C excavator with the blade on it, maybe between scuffing it up with the bucket and then going over it with the blade, maybe I can do something, or maybe I'll do nothing. I don't know, we'll see. right, well, you can see I still have this massive pile of dirt here to get rid of. Probably into the 1,000-yard range. But the good news is we did get this graded out somewhat decent for it being freezing anyways. There's still a lot of chunks that would have broken up very easily had it not been freezing. Like that's just a big frost chunk that normally you drive over that with the tracks and it just flattened right out, but it's not going to happen here. But for the most part, this is 1,000 times better than it was 2 days ago. So I did spend an entire day getting this looking better, which probably isn't the best use of my time, but I just wanted to see if I could make it better. So it took a day to get a 100-foot stretch done, and we have a 700-foot ditch. So yeah, most of the other part of the ditch is not near as bad and it doesn't require near as much work, but I do want to address the entire ditch eventually. But the amount of work that I did right here in this 100-foot stretch is almost unimaginable. Just massive amounts of dirt moved here, and I'm really happy with the way it came out. So this is also another pile that we need to ship out of here, probably another 500 yards or so. And then we also have another probably 500 yards over there, and then over on the other side probably another 500 yards. Probably looking at several thousand yards altogether, and that's all going to go towards future projects. Hopefully in the spring I can get to that. I want to build a new driveway, something that doesn't go up so abruptly, because the problem is going over that with my lowboy, it's too abrupt. It goes up and then back down again, and the lowboy gets centered on it. So I want to create a driveway that doesn't do that. So instead of going this way, I'm going to come up this way and then turn around. That will also get me more square to the road, because right now when you come out it's kind of like a Y going to the road, and I'd rather it be like a T. So I've had plans to do that for a few years now, just haven't gotten to it. Also needed some fill, which I now have. So you can see on the side of my garage I got another massive pile here, and then up here where this excavator is, this entire thing is just fill that can get out of here. And once I get this fill out of here, I can flatten this whole thing out, and this is where I plan on stacking machines, one right after another. I think excavators and skid steers, dozers, track loaders, stuff like that, the cranes I think will have to go somewhere else because the booms stick out too far, and the booms will be sticking out all the way to the building here, which may not be so bad I guess if they're in the air, but I guess we'll see. But I'd like to stack as many machines as I can back here. That way they're out of that area over there. That way that whole area can just be for trucks and trailers, and machines can be over here. But we've already gotten to the point where there's no water running down this anymore. There's nothing coming out of that culvert anymore. I guess this ditch isn't doing anything at the moment, but believe me, it's definitely needed. That just means that I don't have to worry about it in the spring. Because in the spring, when things start melting, and also we have just a lot of rain, the water will go right over the culvert. Also, I'm going to make another road that comes in from over here, or maybe over here, and goes across the beginning of this pond here, and then shoots up the driveway. That way we have like a big giant loop that we can make. So you guys saw me dig this little trench. When I put in these shipping containers, I'll probably just end up putting a 4-inch perforated pipe in there because it's not running much water. And then that way this area here can be used for something. But I'd like to get all these machines out of here and put some more fabric, put some more millings, and then we can have a lot more space over here. So I've been getting these concrete forms together and out of here. I got a question. Does anybody have any idea what kind of forms these are? Because I cannot find the proper hardware for them. They take a bigger wedge, and I'm just having a hard time locating the hardware that I need for these, like snap ties especially, because the new snap ties that you use have a smaller slit in them, so when you go to put the wedges in, they're loose and they make the wall loose. And I'm able to like finagle it so it works, but it'd be a lot more streamlined if we could get the right hardware for these. I just have no idea what these forms are actually called. They're not universal, I don't think. They're not Simon's, obviously. They're something that's probably older, and I just don't know what they are. So they got these holes. You put the snap ties right here. I don't even know what these are used for. Let me know if you guys know what these are called. I don't think they're Dayton either, but I don't know for sure. So I have a video of the water going over this culvert somewheres, but I have like 30 external hard drives full of all the videos that I've made, and for me to find those videos, it would just not be feasible. But just believe me when I say that the water comes out this pipe at full capacity, then it loads up to the point where it goes over the road here, and it sort of erodes the road here. And then there's another culvert down there, and it goes over that too. So that should definitely not happen again, because the worst I've ever seen it, it would probably need like another 8-inch culvert on top of the 12-inch. I don't even think it would need two 12-inch culverts. It's not really much else to say. Look for a part 2 on this, because I probably will do it with all the site work that we need to do between loading out this dirt and then reshaping all of the trenches to make them look better. We could definitely do a second part to this whole project. But I am thankful that I even got the mechanical part of it done. Even though it doesn't look that great, it will function in the springtime the way I need it to. And that's really what it was all about. So we'll finish it up in part 2 in the spring. And I guess that's it for this video, guys, and I'll catch you on the next one.